This is Marvin Four from Alpine Cols speaking. We're a team of cycling coaches based in the Alps, and this year we've come to ride the oldest and hilliest of the spring classics, Liège-Bastogne-Liège. First run in 1892, the route has changed a bit over the years, but always starts in the vicinity of Liège, heads south fairly directly to Bastogne, which is about 100 kilometers, and then meanders back north to somewhere near Liège. At the point the video started, we are on a descent after the Côte de Bellevaux. We've already ridden 175 kilometers and are well past Bastogne. There are still 100 kilometers to go, including most of the short, steep climbs the race is famous for. The next climb is the Côte de Bellevaux, 1100 meters, 6.8% average slope and 11.5% maximum. Compared to what is to come, this is relatively easy, but from now on everything becomes harder due to the distance and accumulated climbing. After a short descent, we ride through Malmedy, sadly notorious for the massacre of 84 American prisoners of war by the SS in 1944. This area is full of history. Earlier in the day we passed by several rusty old tanks left over from the Battle of the Bulge, Hitler's final offensive of the war. Soon after Malmedy, we turn left up the Côte de la Ferme Libère. The Ferme Libère is a recent innovation in the route and is definitely one of the toughest climbs. 1200 meters, 12.8% average and 19.2% maximum. You can see how steep it is from the way we're forced to stand up on the pedals. These seem like the longest 1200 meters I have ever climbed. On climbs like this you really need your granny gears, and I'm not at all ashamed to say that I came with my compact setup with 50-34 and a large cassette on the back 11-32. With that you can safely get up anything. The Col du Rosier starts with this very sharp turn back to the right. Better anticipate and change gear before. 4.5 kilometers, this is the longest of the categorized climbs. The average gradient is only 5.7%, but there's a passage at 12% to make you stand up again, and even a couple of switchbacks. Over the top, a short descent, and we reach the Col du Maquisard via another sharp right turn. This is a relatively straightforward climb, 3 kilometers at 5.1%, but there's still an energy-sapping section at 10%. We are now at kilometer 216, and the climbs are coming thick and fast. There's definitely tension and excitement in the air now as we approach the Côte de la Redoute, the most famous climb on Liège-Bastogne-Liège, and the one where most of the spectators are grouped. Look at the weather. We were very lucky this year. The weather is not great in the Ardennes, and the race is often cold and wet. Sometimes it even snows, including in 1980 when it snowed continuously and only 21 out of 174 starters actually finished the race. Bernard Hinault won that year, but he suffered frostbite in 2 fingers that still cause him trouble today. The Côte de la Redoute is 1,650 meters long, with an average slope of 9.7%, but a maximum of a leg-busting 20%. Here we're climbing alongside the motorway. This is where everybody wants to be to watch. The big white tent you can see in front is for the Philippe Gilbert fan club. The local hero's fans gather here on the day to drink copious amounts of beer and cheer him on. In the early days of the race, the Côte de la Redoute was often the springboard for the eventual victors, who attacked on these steep slopes. Since the Finnish move from the centre of Liège to Anse, however, in 1992, nothing much has happened on the Redoute, and the final attacks have mostly taken place on the Côte de Saint-Nicolas. Maybe this will change, however, in 2019, when the Finnish is moved back to the centre of Liège. We'll see. Here we are descending after the Redoute. The next climb up is another famous one, the Côte de la Roche aux Faucons. It is 1500 meters long, with an average slope of 9.9% and a maximum of 15%. I had to do much of this climb standing up, which is why the video is a bit shaky. By this stage of the race, the fatigue is really starting to tell, and many of the amateur riders had to put a foot down. We were passing riders here who had overtaken us earlier in the day. This is where Bob Jongels attacked in the professional race this year, opening up a gap over the top and then soloing all the way to victory. There is a dramatic change of scene, and you can feel the finishes close when you leave the countryside and enter the semi-derelict industrial zone on the southwestern side of Liège. Anybody who wants to win has to be near the front and ready to attack as they go round these corners. So here it is. After 260k of hard riding, we're at the foot of the final climb, the Côte de Saint-Nicolas. It is 1400 meters long, with an average slope of 7.6% and a maximum of 13%, which feels like a great deal more at this stage of the race. Once over the top, there's a 3-kilometer descent, a short climb, and then a final false flat to where the professional race finishes in Ants. We amateurs continue for another 6 kilometers, including quite a steep descent on cobblestones that I would hate to do in the wet. So there you have it. The Liège-Bastogne-Liège Challenge is a great event, and I encourage you to ride it. You don't have to do the full distance. There is an option at 155 kilometers and even one at 75 kilometers, which should be within most people's reach. If you are going to do the long one, however, you need to do some serious training for it. If you're interested in improving your performance in events like Liège-Bastogne-Liège or any of the mountain sportives, do get in touch with us at Alpine Cols. We offer both distance coaching and hands-on coaching during our training camps. We'd love to see you.